Well, I finally grew a set and decided to play around with my Palomar 300A some more, and I couldn't get it to key up. Well, I put these special little relays in there that Nomad sells. Well, you can see one of them right there, a little black relay. Well, in trying this thing out, I couldn't get it to key up. So I bought some more of those little relays. Still didn't work, and I wasn't getting any power through it. Well, I pulled the keying relay out, and this is the board I took out of it, and I took the little socket out of it. And you can see, well, let me see if I can't do this a little bit better. With that socket off of this thing, you can see I burnt that trace that comes off the common side and runs down. You can see it's burnt right there. That goes through that little relay. Well, then if I flip it over, you can see that this trace is still good, but I smoked the trace on that side. It's pretty much foobar. A lot of that's from taking and then soldering that socket that's in there. Well, I got to messing around with the wiring diagram and studied it and studied it and studied it some more. Well, I've got a whole bunch of these little 12-volt relays, and they're 12-volt, normally closed. You can see the little diagram right there. So 1 and 2 is your coil, 3 is your common, 4 is normally closed, and 5 is normally open. Well, I needed 2 relays to make this thing work because that's a 2-part relay that's inside this Palomar. And I wanted to be able to put a fuse in it so I don't smoke the trace. Obviously, I got something wired up wrong still. So I took 2 of those little relays, and one's for the positive side, one's for the negative side, wired everything up, glued them together so they won't get entangled, run them through an old fuse, one for the positive side and one for the negative side. I got them on my old high gain controllers, and I just soldered it right to the board. Each wire goes to a certain spot. Now here's an older Palomar that 300 that Fixer gave me, and it goes right in here. That's where that board would go from Nomad. And then the bottom side of it, I figured out where everything needs to go, so I soldered it in place. Now this is what's wrong with this one. They got a burnt trace down in here coming off this big relay. But Fixer gave me this one so I could trace my wires down. Well, I got it on the high power side. Preamp is off. It's in operate. Now this is just a regular meter here. This doesn't tell you peak watts. About 500 watts dead key. And it won't show me any RMS unless I hook a bird meter up to it. So it's working, but I do not want to hit that preamp switch on, because if I do, I'll pop the fuse on the positive side. See, there's the red wire is positive side and the black wire is the ground side. I need to mark my fuses just a little bit better, but that's the last 3 amp fuse I've got. But if I flip that preamp on, it'll blow that fuse right out. So I've either got to wire up problem still wrong or something like that, but it's working. And you can see the main relay right there clicking. And if I flipped it on the other side, you'd see the high power relay clicking down below. I just don't want to mess around too much with all them wires there, but that's my little tester to test this keying circuit out so I don't smoke another one of those little boards from Nomad. I might end up trying to bypass that trace on there. I really haven't figured it out yet, but I know it's foobar, and just the short goes through it, and smoked it. But some more investigating to do. But the Palomar 300A is working. It's a miracle it does that much. Okay.